Jo Shaw and I have decided not to take up the time that we have been given. We just want to welcome you also on behalf of the UDO Citizenship Observatory. The next day, tomorrow, will be devoted to topics that the observatory intends to cover in the future. So you will have lots of opportunities to learn more of what we are doing. You'll find some material in your conference folders and here on the table to pick up. I will just make 3 remarks. What we've done in the past is we've started out with building an observatory on the acquisition and loss of citizenship in the European Union. And as you all know, EU citizenship is derivative from member state nationality. This is why we focused on the nationality laws of the member states. We want now to go towards the second step, and we've got funding from DG Home Affairs, from the European Union Fund for the Integration of Third Country Nationals to do this, which is to enable us to do a more systematic comparison of citizenship laws, of the ways they are implemented, of the acquisition rates by which third country nationals acquire member state nationality and EU citizenship, and finally of the integration outcome. Does citizenship make a difference for income levels, unemployment, for educational opportunities, for political participation? This will be our main project for the next 1.5 years. And finally, parallel with that, we want to take up a new topic, which is not just citizenship status, but one of the core rights associated with it, and this is electoral participation. So the idea is to build a European electoral rights database. That's one of our main goals, and I've put up one single slide that says what we want to do, what kind of categories we want to include. Our focus will be on the odd categories, on the non-resident citizens and the non-citizen residents, and how they get access to specific electoral rights or are denied these kinds of access. The way we want to do it is a breakdown by 27 countries, or maybe 28 in the near future. Obviously, then we want to look at categories of voters by citizenship and residence. You find here some strange acronyms that identify the 4 basic categories. The first one would be static citizens, basically meaning nationals living in their national member states. The second one are the mobile EU citizens living in another member state. The third ones are the third country nationals who do enjoy, for example, access to local voting rights in 13 of the member states currently. And finally, we have the external citizens that may reside in another member state or outside the EU territory, but they can vote in their countries of origin, where they hold the nationality. If you combine all of this with a type of elections across levels, from the local up to the European level, and also distinguish between legislative elections, presidential elections, and referendum type of elections, then you end up with a quite big matrix of 1,080 cells. And we have to fill that matrix not with a single yes or no, but with some kind of definition, what are the mechanisms of inclusion or exclusion for each of these, in each of these cells. So it's a quite ambitious project. We don't think we will be able to do it on the short term, but at least we want to start it, and tomorrow will be for us an opportunity to also learn from members of the European Parliament where they think there might be opportunities for broadening inclusion in electoral rights in the European polity, which is not just about the European Parliament, but includes all levels from the European one via the member state level, the regional level, to the local level.
I have very little to add to what Rainer Bauböck has said there. Just to say that the way that we're very grateful to the UDO Observatory for supporting us in sort of breaking into this topic by having today and tomorrow's conference on this question. The way that we've broken into it, as it were, is to focus on these different aspects, but also to try to link to the work of other observatories. So the first two panels focusing on external, the aspect of external voting rights, and then the aspect of internal voting rights for non-citizen residents, linked directly really to the question that's raised by this matrix there in front of you. And then the second two panels on expanding voting rights and looking at mobilization, and then looking at policies and politics in comparative perspective, link us much more back to the work of the other observatories on political parties in particular, but also on issues around institutional change as well, potentially. And then framing all of that is two round tables in which we can perhaps raise some other sorts of questions that do raise some institutional issues. For example, I think the European Citizens Initiative is something that will be addressed in the context of the first round table, which will take place literally now.